You'll learn over and over again that the narrative of queerness at Lafayette historically has been the narrative of silence. Where are the little nooks and crannies in an institution, because it's always been queer people at Lafayette, where have they found a place to breathe? Students are always teaching this college where it needs to be, and the effort is very often on their backs, and I think that has been the case very much with queer history in the last decade and a half, at least during my time. So I came to Lafayette in 2009, in the fall of 2009, and I interviewed for my job in the spring of 2009. So I was on campus for the first time in my life in the spring of 2009. I was having this very long, very intensive job interview. And the committee member who was touring me around campus took me to Faranon. We were walking around Faranon. And I said, you know, at some point I'd really like to see the Women's Center, I'd like to see the LGBTQ, you know, wherever the Rainbow Room is. And this silence fell. And then the person said, have I mentioned we have a really great gym, Kirby Gym? And I realized that there was literally nothing. The Queer Archives Project began in the early teens, around 2014. I was teaching a course called Sexuality Studies, and I was having students work with institutional histories and how they shape sexuality and sexual identity through cultural processes. And I got the idea that it would be really interesting to think about how Lafayette has shaped and been shaped by queer identities. And I wanted to work with the archives. But what started to happen is that we went to the archives and we realized that the archives has never collected materials on LGBTQ plus populations or histories at Lafayette, and the archivists were really excited to start doing that. So my students began to do research on the queer archives in the sense of trying to figure out, if you were going to look for queer history, where would you find it? If you have an institution that is powerfully homophobic and transphobic, it is anti-queer. Like it hunts down and tries to throw out queer people, right? So some of the oral histories talk about that in the Queer Archives Project. And the patterns that I've seen in the Queer Archives Project have been the arts and the humanities have consistently provided a place where queer people say things like, I would have never said the word, it was illegal when I was here. I didn't even know what the rainbow flag was. I didn't know what people were talking about. But I really loved the theater department. I would have died without the English department. I don't know what I would have done without the library. I think over and over again, queer history at Lafayette and more generally teaches us that the arts and the humanities help people survive.